podcast. My name is Niall Mackay and I'm your host. This is season 6. Don't forget you can go back through the whole catalogue and find all 5 seasons of 7 Million Bikes. Make sure you subscribe and turn on the notifications. Follow 7 Million Bikes on Facebook. Go on there and give it a like. We're also on Instagram. If you do enjoy this content, then please go on the link in the notes for patreon.com and you can become a member of a Vietnam podcast and you get some cool benefits like free tickets. You'll get early bonus content as well. If you just want to buy me a coffee, there's also a link in the show notes. You can send me a coffee as well. So thank you very much to the previous people that sent me coffees. They were very much enjoyed, so very, very much appreciated. Season 6 is sponsored by our good friends over at Eddie's New York Deli and Diner. If you are in Saigon, then make sure you go check them out. Tell them that 7 Million Bikes sent you. They got 2 locations now, one in D2 and one in District 1. If you've seen the show Riverdale on Netflix, you'll know exactly what Eddie's is like. It's a slice of home comfort no matter where you're from in the world. Make sure you check out Eddie's New York Deli and Diner. So enjoy 7 Million Bikes, a Vietnam podcast. Welcome back to 7 Million Bikes, a Vietnam podcast. We're into season 6 now. My guest today is half Laotian, half Vietnamese, 100% German, which makes him 200% of a person, which is amazing, right? He's an actor and singer-songwriter and a filmmaker who's just written and directed his 4th short film. My guest today is Lâm Vissay. How are you?
Perfectly spoken. I'm good. Thank you. Happy to be here, Neil.
Thanks for joining us. Now, we met a couple of months ago at an event that you hosted, and I was lucky to be invited on at the German Business Association. And this event was the most German event you could ever imagine.
I have to disagree. First, the first time we saw was on your own show. So I was a guest and I saw a post somewhere on Facebook through friends and I visited and I liked your show. It was a comedy show with some great entertainers. And then I thought, hey, it could be nice to invite you to my show, which would be some weeks later. And actually, you would say it's the Germans are very strict, but coming here to the podcast, you gave me some instructions how to behave, not to talk when you talk, and that was more German than I would have expected.
I forgot. Yeah, so we did meet before that event, but that was the first time we'd performed together. The reason I said it was the most German event I've ever done because I remember before we got given the run sheet and I used this joke on stage and it was like, you will start at 8:02 and you will finish at 8:09 and then the next act will finish at 8:16 but the night just went like clockwork and it was amazing and I was like, this is so German.
Yeah, that's true. Well, it's just for practical reasons. If we if we got into overtime, it would cost us just more. That's it. That's the fact.
And it's funny because I know being from the UK, we're very well aware of, kind of German efficiency. And I was telling this to an American friend and they didn't know that stereotype. They were like, what do you mean? I was like, Germans, they're very efficient. They do things, on time. And they were like, oh, I didn't know that. So I guess it's not known worldwide, but the Germans are very efficient, right?
Actually, yes. The Germans are known for punctuality and being reliable and strict. But again, it depends on the person. Yeah.
I mean, I've met some of the funniest people I've met are German. I think that's a stereotype that's not true, that Germans don't have a sense of humor. Germans have a great sense of humor.
Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
It's different to, I guess, maybe it's a lot drier, I guess, than maybe the rest of
let's say, when we say I love you, it sounds like war. It's like ich liebe dich, right? That's I love you. So everything is like it's war.
Would that then be a similarity between Vietnamese and German? Because with Vietnamese, I always find that I've had friends who are having a conversation in Vietnamese and I think they're yelling at each other. I'm like, oh no, we're just deciding what we're having for lunch.
Well, it depends. If you are from the South, every swear word could be also It's like French and German, I would say. If you are from the south with a southern accent, everything sounds nice. Even you swear, yeah.
Now you're half Laotian, half Vietnamese, 100% German. Do you want to tell me more about that?
I was born in Laos. My parents moved when I was 4 to Germany. Actually, we were boat people. And then I grew up there, living there for 33 years before I decided to move here. Yeah, that was 9 years ago. Mm-hmm.
Now, do you mind talking more about that, being quote unquote a boat people? Because I've been listening to the podcast, I don't know if you've heard it, called Vietnamese Boat People, where a woman in America, Tracy Nguyen, basically started off as a family project, interviewing her mum and dad and sharing their story. Because from what I understand in talking to some people, most people who experience that don't really talk about it too much to their children or to their family, which understandably so, because it's a terrible experience. So I've started listening to that now. I'm a few episodes in. It's fascinating. I've read a couple of books about it. And I wonder if there's a lot of people in the world maybe don't even really know so much about that. Vietnam now is so internationally known as this beautiful country, economically booming, and I wonder if a lot of people don't know about.
I think everybody knows because of the many war movies that are out there. I think the whole world knows about boat people, especially boat people. I think it's the first time that this term popped up was when I think a German guy, I forgot his name, had a boat called Cap am Namur, and he sailed down south and rescued the first Vietnamese, and then the term was born.
So he was a German person, was the first person.
Sadek, Manek, I forgot his name, but something rhymes with Sadek or something. Yeah. He was a German guy from Troisdorf, which is a small city south of Cologne, where I was living 33 years. So it was my hometown, still my hometown. It's a town, it's the town of the Kölner Dom, Cologne Dome. You know the dome? They're famous for having the bones. Do you say the bones? The skeletons of the 3 kings that gave Maria the message that she will give birth to Jesus. And it's still there. So it's more than 2,000 years old.
Wow. No, didn't know that. There you go. Learning something.
Yeah.
So did your parents talk to you much about that?
About Jesus?
Not about the bones. So did your parents talk to you much about their experiences getting to Germany?
Not at all. Not at all. But today we talk coincidentally because I'm applying to get a double citizenship. So I had to ask them about the past, and it's a bit difficult in my situation because I'm Laotian as well. So it's hard to get a double citizenship. But now that I have 3, so I'm not sure the Germans let me keep the German citizenship and get another second one. Yeah.
And so which side is Laotian, which side is Vietnamese from your parents?
My father's side is Laotian, and my mother, she is Vietnamese, but she grew up in Laos herself, so she barely speaks Vietnamese. So we never spoke Vietnamese. We spoke Laotian and German at home. And when 9 years ago, when I came here, decided to live here, I had to learn it from scratch. So it was a pretty rough time. 2 years time fighting with the language, fighting to survive, because when you don't speak a language, you don't have a job. Yeah. And I came here for the job opportunity.
Now, you lived in Hanoi for 5 years. So do you have a northern accent or a southern accent?
I do have a northern accent.
And does that cause more confusion in Saigon?
People say because I always wanted to do films, movies. It would have been better if I have a southern accent. But already done. It's past. Why think about what was, what could have been? I'm happy with what my accent is now.
So do you remember much about, you said you were 4 years old. Do you remember much about the journey to Germany?
My consciousness starts when I was 6, so I don't remember what happened before. Yeah, I have no memories when I touched German ground. Then this memory started, like, not even. So I remember we were in Dortmund in a place where they collect all the fugitives, and that's it. So yeah, barely remember. Yeah.
And what was it like growing up in Germany then?
I don't know how it would have been different. So strangely, I had a similar conversation with a friend, and guess what? I never faced racism from when I came to Germany until I went to the German Armed Forces for 2 years until now. So I was just lucky. Of course, there's racism. Racism is everywhere in the world, even in Vietnam. Germany, the more east you go, the more you will face it. But I was probably lucky. Maybe it helped that I was always a confident person who doesn't who fights back. So I was never I didn't victimize myself. So yeah, I would say that.
And then you went to the German Armed Forces. How was that?
That was awesome. That was the best time of my life. I was doing 3 months the training that everybody had to go through. Then I was in a special division where so before that, I was about to study computer science, IT technologies. So they put me in a computer science division department. And what happened was that we would work 1 or 2 hours per day, and the rest of the day we would do different things, like because we were very fast and people didn't know the material. So we had a lot of advantages if you know a lot about technology. So I was half of my day would be me being the captain of a basketball team. So I was doing sports half of the day. Yeah, it was a great time.
And do you feel like playing basketball made you taller?
No. Basketball made me stronger, maybe.
So the reason I ask, I don't know if you're aware of this. The only reason I know is because I teach children here. A common question that you ask a Vietnamese student, and even older Vietnamese, I've asked older Vietnamese friends who are like, yeah, no, this is absolutely true, that you say, what's your favorite sport? And they say basketball. And you go, oh, okay, cool. Why? Because it makes me taller.
Is it so? Does it make you tall?
Well, so it's controversial.
I thought it's food. It depends on the food and the country you are in, and but I don't know.
Well, that's what you would think. So I posted it recently on a Facebook page, this kind of this study or something about playing basketball making you taller. And then one of the listeners, Zion, jumped in with a comment, and he's like, no, it's actually true. And he posted some studies that showed that if you played basketball growing up, it would help you be taller, apparently.
You know the good thing about statistics? I don't believe them. So statistics are as good as you do it. So you can fake statistics. You can change them to your needs. So
one of my favorite quotes that I remember from university is, there's lies, damn lies, and then there's statistics.
True. Totally true. I agree.
But it's a common belief in Vietnam that if you play basketball when you're growing up, it will make you taller, which I think it's like they see tall people playing basketball, and so then think, but apparently there may be some truth to the fact that if you play basketball, it will make you taller.
I don't know. So, well, in general, Vietnamese people are in general superstitious. So I wouldn't wonder.
The reason for the post, I remember now, was there was a recent study showing that Vietnamese people are getting, in fact, taller. And the picture that was with the article was of children playing basketball. So I screenshotted it and posted it. I think probably the real answer, which was in the article, was people are taller because of exactly what you said, food and
habits and diet. And well, there's some truth in it. When I first came here 9 years ago, I was one of the tallest Vietnamese Asians. And now they're like 180, 190. The models and the normal guys, yeah. So I'm not one of the tallest anymore. So I feel small.
Yeah. So what made you come then? You said 9 years ago you came for the opportunities. What was that decision then? You were I'm leaving Germany, I'm coming to Vietnam.
Well, the real reason was my girlfriend and me, we broke up. So I just wanted a new start. So yeah. I was stuck in a situation. I needed a new fresh air. So I just tried it. I sold all. No, I didn't sell. I gave away all my stuff, all my belongings, all my music instruments. I made a party. I remember there were 65 people coming, friends, to give me a nice farewell party. A lot of tears, not from me. And we made a lucky draw, and where I gave away all my stuff. So yeah, that was fun, and everything fit in a small truck, like a transporter. All my belongings from how old I was 9 years ago. I was like 35. So yeah, that was all I had that fit in a car. And then I came here with a suitcase and my guitar, my Martin guitar that I have since I'm 18 and do music. Yeah, I still have it.
Now, you said you came for fresh air. I assume that's a metaphorical fresh air.
Well, I thought at that time Vietnam has a lot of jungle and trees. It must be fresh, but okay. I didn't know I was that wrong.
And then you moved to Hanoi and you're like...
Oh, God, yes. So, Hanoi is one of the most polluted cities in the world, yeah. There's a lot of smog, but there's a running gag that all the smog is coming from China, so I believe that.
I remember, like about a year and a half ago, the pollution in Vietnam, in Ho Chi Minh and Hanoi was really bad. And I'm looking at it on almost a daily basis. Hanoi was, in the top, I think for a while, like the most polluted country in the world, like the dark purple color.
City.
The most polluted city in the world. So you moved to Hanoi 9 years ago, didn't speak Vietnamese. Was that confusing to some locals to look at you and think or assume that you're Vietnamese and then you couldn't speak the language?
Actually, there's an anecdote. I forgot. I came for a job. So 9 years ago, actually going back 10 years ago, 1 year before I went to Vietnam, I met 3 people. 3 Asians on the Berlinale, at the Berlinale Film Festival, the Berlin Film Festival. And I met them not at the festival, but in a show. It was the Blue Man Group.
Oh, yeah.
So I said, hey, they look like experts. So I asked them, are you for the festival? Are you here for the festival? Yeah, we're all filmmakers. I said, oh, cool. I'm an actor. So, and one of them said, okay, here's my number. If you're in Vietnam, give me a call. Maybe we can work together. And this sentence I hear a lot in my, I'm doing film since for more than 23 years. So you never know how to take it, right? So 1 year later, I came to Vietnam and then I give him the call and he has still the number and he said, hey, what a coincidence. I have a role for you and you fit perfectly. I said, yeah, but I don't speak Vietnamese at all. No problem. You speak English and all the others, they speak Vietnamese. That works? Yeah, that works because we're dubbing anyway, everyone. So I said, okay, let's do it. And then I got my first job shooting abroad, not in Germany, not in Vietnam, but in Prague. So Czech Republic. So we flew back right away from Vietnam to Prague, and then I had a very nice time in Prague, a nice role, and it was fun. It was fun, yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah. You go to Vietnam for an acting job, and then they fly you back to Prague.
Right. That worked well, and then I said, "Hey, that's so easy. Let's go to Vietnam and stay here." And then the struggles started. Like 2 years, I had to really learn Vietnamese, and I was so desperate because Vietnamese is not an easy language. Yeah, it's a tone language, but maybe because it's in my blood, I learned faster. Then the second job offer came, which was the main villain. So 99% of my film roles, I got the villain role offered. Although I would say, a funny guy in normal life.
You don't have evil eyes, I wouldn't.
I do have when I.
Is that what you get told?
I can't smile in the photos, so I don't know. So they hired me as a villain, and I struggled the first 2 weeks, and because. Just imagine you have to learn how many? 25 shots? No, 25 scenes in one day. It was a TV show. So we shot 25 scenes in one day, and it was like, hell no, how can you do that? And so I was constantly learning lines so when we finished shooting the day, it was a long day, 14, 16, 18 hours sometimes. They all went drinking. So every day, nhậu, they call it nhậu, right? So they drank rượu, rice wine, after the shoot. And I was always invited, but I said, no, I can't. I have to go back and learn my lines. And so while they were having fun after the shoot, I was learning. And I wanted to give up the first 2 weeks. And the assistant director told me, no, come on, give it a try. Give more effort. Give it 1 more day, 3 more days, 1 week. And then 1 week became 2 months, and then 4 months. And then we finished the series. And the director was very happy with me. And I think that TV show won a lot of prizes. Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm wondering, do you think you might have learned Vietnamese quicker by going drinking with those guys?
Maybe, yeah, I should consider.
I think you'd have learned more swear words, though, if you'd probably done that rather than the dialogue.
Well, swear I can in any language.
It's the same no matter what, right? Everyone learns the bad words first.
Because it's fun.
Yeah, that's true, right?
Yeah.
So then how did you went from being computer science in the military. You obviously knew you wanted to be an actor, I assume, at this point, or then how did you transition?
Not at all.
Not at all. Okay.
It was by coincidence. So after the army, I went to university studying for a year or two. And there was, what was there? In the newspaper, I saw a casting for a role with one of the biggest stars, Moritz bleibt treu. He's still one of the biggest stars. So back then, 23-ish years, I applied and I got the role. How did I get the role? Yeah, of course. They asked me if I'm an Asian, so you probably knew Kung Fu. I said, yeah, so what should I say?
They didn't say that.
No, I didn't say that. I said I know sword. I can fight with swords.
But they actually said that.
I said it. So they actually asked me.
They actually asked that.
They still ask me. So they still ask me, can you speak German with an accent? I speak German fluently. I speak maybe better German than Germans, but they still have that in mind. They have the need. They say that the audience needs to be explained why this German with migration background speaks as good German as Germans. And I say, what? We're in the second, third generation here, and we're not accepted. That's not the reality. But the decision makers are white old men. So it's always stays. So I said, yeah, I can fight with swords, and but what a pity you don't have a sword or something here. And he said, wait a minute. And then the casting guy went up and then he brought a stick. And I said, can you show us something? I said, what the fuck? I was thinking, what the fuck did I say that? But I said that for a reason, because the day in advance, I saw a show with some guys fighting with swords. So I just did what they did. So I just copied that. And, film is just film. It's fake. You don't kill or you don't love someone for real. You just fake it. So I just faked that I'm a sword fighter, and then I did what I saw, and then the last hit was like in front of the guy, so that he was shocked that I could hit his head, and then he said, "You got the role." So he was impressed, and I said, "Wow, acting is so easy. Let's do it. Let's apply for an acting school." And then I looked. I didn't want it to move, so I looked for the best school in my city, which is Cologne, the fourth biggest city in Germany. And then out of 1,500 applicants, they just chose 15 people. So I learned 3 roles, one classic, Shakespeare, of course, because he's the best. Little do I know how hard it is. One comedic role and one modern role, and I learned everything in 1 week. And when I was chosen, I felt, wow, because they told me you have talent, you are good, and say, oh, I feel privileged. And my comrades, they did travel in every city, and they had like 10 applications, castings, auditions that didn't work. So I felt talented, I felt good, but little do I know what it means. Then the struggle started. 3 years of the school being criticized, to fail, it was very tough. Yeah, so just imagine you're young. You by luck you get a role where you get a lot of money. So you think, wow, I like that, because why should I work hard when I work a bit? I got admired, got the money, so let's do it. But little did I know that acting is much more not easy at all.
The reality was different.
Yeah, so.
This season, we are proud to be partnered with and sponsored by Eddie's New York Deli and Diner. They are one of my favorite places to go in Saigon. You're always greeted with a big smile. You can get delivery from Eddie's. They are the delivery experts. So if you don't want to leave the house, hit them up on Facebook Messenger. They'll get back to you immediately. Or you can also get them on Grab as well. As I said, I've been going to Eddie's since they've opened 3 years ago. It is one of my go-to places in Saigon. So please check it out. It's interesting that you've brought that point up, because I have a couple of friends in New York that I know from when I lived there, and they are actors and trained. And he posted something just recently about how there needs to be a culture change in terms of teaching acting and acting schools, where and he gave some examples, and he linked to an article where you're basically abused and broken down. And he had lots of friends comment on it, saying, this is what I went through. I was told every day I wasn't worthwhile, I wasn't good enough. They were giving some examples of, as a trained actor, you're psychologically broken down, and you're told it's for your own good to build you up to create this actor. And he was posting that kind of needs to change. Did you have a similar experience to that, or you can relate to it, or you know what I'm talking about?
I totally know what you're talking about. I just can speak for myself, and the breaking down someone, it's almost like Bruce Lee's telling you, be water, empty yourself, and be open for everything. For me, it means if it's fair, they will criticize, they will break you in the meaning of, if you're too confident, if you have if you're too stubborn and you can't learn anymore, then you might be at the wrong place. And as an actor, you need to be open-minded and to be open for critics, fair critics, if it helps you. If it's pragmatic, if it helps you on the way to become a better actor, yes. But if it's no, in my time, I would say all the teachers were fair. So the breaking down helps you to be better prepared for life, because in school, they break you down because they're interested in you. They want to help you. I'm not sure it's always the best way or the right way, but it will help you on another way. Because in real life, the director, the producer, they are not honest to you, not always. So sometimes you're bad and they don't tell you. It's just, okay, you were good. But then if you don't have the sense, a self-awareness that you learn from the school, then you think, oh, I'm good. But then you go in the wrong direction and you fail and nobody tells you. Your friends, they always will tell you, you're good. But that doesn't help you if you weren't. So I would say the hard time in school helps you to become a better actor, be better prepared in life, because it's not always shiny and successful. Yeah. So it helps you for the bad time when you don't have job, when you don't have a job, when you are not successful. Yeah.
Now, so then you've obviously had music in your blood, I would imagine. Then your whole life, acting came after music. I guess for anyone, not many people come to music late. So had you always been a performer, a musician, writing?
I made music to impress a girl. So that's the truth. So I was 15 and I knew she loved music, and she went to these music classes, and I went too because I wanted to see her. And then I grabbed a guitar and I wrote a song. No, actually, I covered a song. Yeah, that's.
Was it Wonderwall?
No, it was Right Here Waiting by Richard Marx, and yeah, it worked. We were my first girlfriend I had when I was 15, and we were together for 2-3 weeks. Yeah, but
that's a long time at that age.
And it worked. And I said, "Wow, if music helps." So no, I found my love when I played the guitar and I sang the song, and I said, "Hey, I like that. I like to be able to sing and to write music and to did you know that music has a lot of math in it?
I would imagine so. Yeah.
So I was good with numbers and so the love for music came naturally.
I would imagine that's how people who are like deaf, right? Beethoven is deaf.
Beethoven became deaf. So he was a genius before that already.
Right.
So,
but I've always imagined that there's a connection between maths and music as how people would be able to write or create music, because they can understand the maths of music. Does that make sense, or am I completely off?
No. There's a big connection between math and music theory. Everything is logic. You wouldn't believe it because music sounds creative and art, but it has a rule. The art that works together, everything is connected.
Even if at its most basic, music is 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So there's your maths right there. If you can count to 4, you're doing all right. And I think though, as you're mentioning it, I've not thought of this before, but you think of the Fibonacci spiral and things like that. I mean, that's almost musical in itself. Mm-hmm. So I can see the connection there. So you came to Vietnam as for an acting position, and then I assume you were performing at the same time as well. I know that you were on a Vietnam's Got Talent.
Yes, that's true.
How did that come about?
I lost a bet.
You lost a bet?
Yeah. So and then I had to join the casting, and they picked me, and it was fun. It was a good ride. And we were in Hanoi. I did the casting in Hanoi, and the finals were in Saigon. So it was a good excuse for friends to join me on that trip. So I had my own fan club, and my friends, like half of them are expats, so white people in a Vietnamese TV show. Just imagine, they're all tall, big, and they made some noise, and the cameras loved to film them, of course, and it was it was big fun. Yeah.
So what was the bet that you lost?
I don't remember. I don't remember, but maybe I lost on purpose so that I can join. I don't know.
And then, so what made you move from Hanoi to Ho Chi Minh?
Another love story. Another breakup.
Another breakup. It's always a girl's always involved in these major life decisions.
It's actually the truth. I was unhappy with a relationship. And it didn't work. And then I moved to Saigon.
For the fresh air?
For another fresh air. And to avoid the smog in Hanoi, yeah.
And how do you find the differences then between Ho Chi Minh and Hanoi? Because I've heard some people describe it as being like two different countries. It's that different.
I would agree, yeah. It's two different types of people here. And the good thing is it's always warm. There's just two. It's whether it rains or it's dry, so it's always warm. And the rain season, it will in Saigon it would be raining for 1 hour, 2 hours per day, and then it stops. In Hanoi, it would rain 3 weeks in a row, and it doesn't stop. Yeah. That's a good thing about Saigon.
Yeah, I couldn't handle living in Hanoi for mainly the weather and the pollution. I don't know about the people. I've never met anyone from Hanoi that I didn't like. I've met a few in Saigon. I've not really spent much time up there, yeah.
You don't like Hanoians? Are you saying that?
No, I do. I'm saying I do like Hanoians. I've never had a problem, but I often hear that they are very different people. But for me, they've always been good, but I've not really spent much time in Hanoi, so to speak. So how's the music and acting going then in Saigon? Is it, I would assume, but again, correct me if I'm wrong, there's a bigger scene here than in Hanoi?
Hanoi, there's a scene for TV shows, TV series, and Saigon is more for feature films. Yeah, it goes better for me here. I have more chances. There are more projects on films. I did my 4th short film. When I moved down, I started producing and directing myself. So that's the next step from being an actress since 23 years to become a director, yeah. I was tired of just waiting for the call to be hired by a producer or director. So I wanted to write my own. It started with me writing my own roles. And I say, hey, when I can write, why don't I try to direct? And then I participated in the first 48 hours 3 years ago. And then I saw I could do it. I like the creative work. I like to lead people. I think I can help actors because I'm an actor myself. So yeah, I love the work as a director.
So tell us more about your full film. When's it due out? How was the process? Tell us more about this.
My 4th film is my most ambitious film. It's about an AI device that goes rogue and kills people. We're in the editing phase. We just finished it. I'm not very happy with the ending. It's still confusing, but there's a lot missing. So because it's a sci-fi horror, so we have a lot of visual effects that's we didn't touch yet. So I can't foresee the workload. Then the music is not done. The music design is not done. The grading is not done. So still a lot work to do. Yeah. My first 3 films, let me think. Yeah. I always participated in a competition. So the first 3 were first one was 48 hours, then HTV contest, and last year another 48 hours. So all the festivals, I got my main actors and actresses got nominated for best actor, actress, and last year she won. Vidling won for
Wow.
one best actress. Yeah,
Congratulations. That's awesome.
among other nominations.
So when do you think this will be finished and released?
We have one deadline, which is August. So let's see.
See how we go.
Let's see how it goes. I have something more current, upcoming project, which is a music video which I'm very excited. The song title is Dem A, which means that night. It's about a triangle love relationship.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a very dark song. So it's about somebody not loving someone, and that someone is going to kill someone, something like this. Yeah, it's very dark.
So this stage of the interview, let's move on to the final questions that I ask everyone at the end of the show. Have you ever tried durian?
Of course, I love durian.
You're a fan of it?
Yeah, but you have to eat it frozen, so it's like a sorbet. Yeah, I don't have a problem with durians. They are so tasty. Don't bother the smell. I mean, sure, the smell they have a strong smell, but it's so good. And I mean, how to open it? They look like a weapon, right? They look like a.
Not look like they could be a weapon.
They could be a weapon, yeah. But and they are so hard to open. But once you open it and then you eat it, wow! It's a taste explosion.
It's so divisive.
It's so good. If you don't try it, you miss half of your life.
This is why I asked the question, because for me, I'm on the opposite end of the scale. I need to find it and post it on the channel, on the Facebook. I've got a video of me trying it for the first time, and I spit it out. And I've tried durian ice cream, durian yogurt, durian candy, and it all is the same. Just leaves a.
It's so good.
This is one we can agree to disagree on.
Okay.
Now, the question I normally ask is about bikes, because we're named 7 million bikes because of the volume of motorbikes in Saigon. But lately, there's more and more cars on the road in Saigon. And a new trend in the last kind of 6 months to a year that I've noticed is more outrageous paint jobs on cars. And the example I've given is lately I saw a bedazzled Mercedes-Benz, a beautiful car, literally coated out in silver glitter. What's the craziest car that you've seen in Saigon lately?
Craziest car. I saw, you call it a tank?
Yeah, like a Hummer or a...
Yeah, like what Arnold Schwarzenegger is driving, or right. Yes, that I saw here, which looks pretty scary. Yeah.
Now, what is something that happens in Vietnam that would be looked at strangely in your home country or another country?
Home country would be Germany. So probably almost everything, like going to the shopping mall in your pajamas. Yeah. That's a common thing here, but I think everything beyond the normal is gonna raise some eyebrows. Yeah.
I laugh so hard at that because it is something, and let's be clear, it's females that go out in their pajamas. You never see a male in his pajamas outside his front door.
The male, they would lift their shirts and then you see their bellies. So
that's the equivalent, yeah, showing off your belly. But I laugh at it nearly every day when I see a female leaving their apartment. I mean, most females wouldn't leave their bedroom in their pajamas. And then here, people will literally go to Vinmart, they'll go shopping in the mall. And not just, what makes me laugh the most, not just sometimes in like their cotton pajamas, which is still, to me, quite funny. They'll be in like little silk Chanel pajamas that I'm like, that's like lingerie.
That's fashion. That's cool.
Which again is just these differences the cultural differences that we have. So on the flip side, what's something from Germany that would be looked at strangely in Vietnam?
Nothing. Vietnam is a country, it's an open arm country, so you can come and be yourself and crazy. It's like carnival every day. So you can dress up and nobody would raise an eyebrow.
And what advice would you give to yourself 9 years ago before you came to Vietnam?
Learn Vietnamese in advance. Yeah, I would say that, yeah.
Would that have given you a head start, you feel?
Yeah, it would have eased a lot of other things, yeah.
So tell our listeners, where can they follow you? Where can they find you? Where can they see you perform? And where can they watch your movies or your short films when they come out?
Just Google my name or follow me on YouTube on Vissay.com.
And last of all, tell us about your tea.
Yes, I have my own tea brand. It's coincidentally has the same name like my name. So Vissay Cascara Cherry Tea, which is made out of the peels of coffee bean. Yeah, and I just happen to have my own brand of tea. I love tea, so I said, why not have my own tea? No, I was approached by a tea manufacturer, and yeah, it's my little startup.
Nice,
and it's growing. So we sold our first 1,000 bags, and yeah, it's challenging. It's fun.
And where can we find it?
On Lazada or Shopee, just Google it, Vissay Cascara. So you'll find it.
Sweet. Awesome. Yeah. Well, thanks very much. It's good to have you on.
Good to be here. Thank you, Neil. Was fun.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks very much for listening to this episode of 7 Million Bikes, a Vietnam podcast. Don't forget to subscribe from wherever you're listening from right now. Turn on the notifications as well so you never miss an episode. If you're new to the podcast, make sure you go back through. We got 5 seasons of amazing guests that you can listen to their stories as well. Please get in touch. I always love to hear from our listeners. It's one of the best things when I wake up in the morning and I open up Instagram or Facebook and I've had a message from someone telling me that they've been listening from America or Australia or anywhere in the world. So please let me know where you're listening from, or Vietnam as well, obviously. I always love to hear from people. I want to give a massive thank you again to our Patreon members, Brandon Thompson and Zion Johnson. If you do enjoy this content, you can support 7 Million Bikes of Vietnam podcast on Patreon. The link is in the show notes. You can become a member of a Vietnam podcast and get access to exclusive member benefits like free tickets to comedy shows or even a free 7 Million Bikes t-shirt as well. So check that out in the show notes, as I said. And you can also buy me a coffee or a beer if you want on coffee.com. So make sure you check that out. So thanks again for listening. Really hope you enjoy season 6 and you can stay tuned for the future episodes. Cheers. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you're like me, you may use your laptop at places where you have to use public Wi-Fi. This opens you up to digital snoopers. It's a massive problem. It can be your internet service provider, or you know who, looking at what you do online, or a cyber criminal trying to steal your bank passwords or credit card info, or even a hacker at the next table trying to steal your sensitive data. These days, it is vital that you keep your data safe. NordVPN keeps all of these snoopers away. It makes your internet activity private, protects you from accessing dangerous websites that are phishing for your data, and lets you enjoy your favorite content securely, even while away from home. And it's easy to use, even I could use it. I've actually been using NordVPN for years now here in Vietnam, and I'm excited to be an affiliate partner with them. I've used NordVPN to watch Netflix, BBC, Disney Plus with ease. And I also know that my information and data are safe from prying eyes, whoever they may be. Join now and you'll get 68% off and 3 months free when you go to my link, nordvpn.com/SMB. Just again, for those hard of hearing, nordvpn.com/SMB. The link is also in the show notes. I know nobody checks them out, but go check that out and you can get the link from wherever you are listening to this podcast. As an affiliate partner, it also means that I will get a small commission when you sign up, but at no extra cost to you. So not only will you be getting a great deal through 7 Million Bikes, you get a great VPN and you'll be supporting 7 Million Bikes podcast. Stay safe online and enjoy the shows you love. Any questions, just let me know. You know how to get in touch with me. And thanks for listening to this show. Cheers.